Batman: Curse of the White Knight, issue 5. Sean Murphy obviously doing both writing and art. Back to the main story. Obviously, we had the Von Freeze issue last month instead. We start with Gordon's funeral.
Yeah, sad times.
Very sad. Barbara's, in the wheelchair.
That's what getting stabbed with the flame sword will do for you.
Yeah, after the last issue. Azrael basically goes rogue against the people who were in charge of him, and explains that his sword's covered in like kerosene or whatever it was, and
specialized napalm.
It was napalm, that's what it was. And he says that he presses a button to ignite it, but it's still flammable. Like, I could still just put it here, and if I put a candle or something near it,
candle, we'll set it going.
Be very threatening with the whole thing. And of course the book ends, and obviously I'll like to talk about in between, but just in terms of Azrael, the book ends with him sort of in his Batman armor. Like he's like now trying to turn to Batman.
Yeah. So the people that were in
the
charge,
best I'm Batman moment I've ever read.
Yeah. So skipping over a big huge beat where because earlier we've had the Nightfall, right? That's what you think.
Oh sure, yeah.
Azrael. So when the people that are in charge try to regain control, they stick Bane on Sean Paul.
And you're like, oh shit, we're doing Bane now.
Yeah, we're doing
Bane.
Now
we're doing Bane.
Yeah, versus Azrael.
And he's gonna break up Batman. Except no.
He's dead in like 3 pages.
I mean, it's not just that he kills him. It's that Bane, like, because Azrael says something like, "Oh, that pipe going from the back of your head that has your venom, that's like a weak spot." And Bane says something like, "Oh, but that's like a temptation to come in. If you're that brave, then go for it." And he's like, "Sure." And he doesn't just cut the pipe; he cuts his whole head off with it.
Yeah, I yelled "Holy shit!" and my wife goes "What?" and I go, "You wouldn't get it."
It's this great subversion of expectations because you go, oh shit, Bane, and like you say,
and he has
the Nightfall connotations with Azrael. You're like, oh shit, we're going there.
Yeah, he has him up, ready to do the backbreaker, and no, the Phantom, big tag to the partner while he's up, and that's it. And I love Luchador Bane. Bane as a Luchador is my favorite take on him, and so his mask here. Yeah, he's got like almost the Matador style coat.
Yeah, and honestly,
the lucha flourishes on the mask. So,
as someone who's never really given a shit about Azrael, this might be a far more interesting Azrael than the main continuity's ever had.
And so,
definitely, and it's kind of funny that we've talked about in the past how there's a lot of stories where Bane gets shafted, even down to the current Batman story, right? And we've talked about Dark Knight Rises, but this here doesn't apply because you're expecting stuff because it's Bane, but because it's this isn't like 4 issues later where they do this. It's 3 pages.
Immediate. And so, as cool as that stuff is, though, we get more in the backstory, which again, I love that Bane moment. But the backstory here, where we find out about the Waynes, completely, basically shaping Gotham from the very start by getting rid of the original settlement into a reservoir?
Yeah, by flooding it, by putting a dam up,
Yeah, like, and man.
Going, we're Gotham here now, bitches.
Exactly. And because of what we think is the
So some of my favorite pages...
bad blood between the Order of St. Dumas and him. But yeah.
Some of my favorite pages of this book are Batman going down and with the breather to look at this old town that's down there.
That is such a Murphy.
Read the wake
shot.
Yeah. I get to the wake.
He goes to the water, and it's just the lines cut out the form of him diving. That is, when I think Murphy, I think of scenes like that because that happens in the wake. That happens in his American Vampire story. It's happened in I think even in the first issue of Chrononauts, which is the only one that I've read, the Millar book.
Yeah.
I feel that's in there, so it's like his thing. But yeah, so he finds this original settlement, and he finds a grave to Saint Dumas or Dumas, whatever we're calling it. And then he comes back to tell them, tell the group what's going on. And
the group. Just to remind everyone, the group here consisting of not only Dick but also Bullock and Renee Montoya.
Right. That's a point, Joe. I think there was one moment with Bullock that I didn't like. I'm gonna try and find out because there was one moment where I went, "That's the least Bullock moment I've ever seen."
Yeah. Well, he has an outburst because Batman wasn't at the funeral because he was investigating, but it's also almost out of respect because he got Gordon. He feels like he got Gordon murdered, and he couldn't handle being there. So it's this real vulnerable moment out of Bruce. That he admits to Renee, which I really like.
He explains the backstory and you know what his theory is about what the revenge is for, and then he admits that he doesn't think the clue really came from Joker; it came from Jack Napier. So he goes to Harley to go and speak to Joker because Batman basically means that Joker will be the one that comes out, but Harley may have a chance with the kids, the new babies, to like draw out Jack, and that leads her to go to to go to Arkham. And speak to him, and eventually, he's very awful to her, but eventually he does, reveal Jack. And I think there's a bit of a tease here where, like, he explains what the writing on the wall means to her, and he says, "Don't tell Batman because this will destroy him."
And the look on her face is horrified. What he tells her.
Yeah.
And
later on, we see Batman ask, like, "Did he explain the writing on the wall?" And she says, "Oh, he doesn't know."
She lies. Yeah. And the other thing that too from the backstory of Gotham is that the people that couldn't afford to be moved, like they couldn't afford it after they flooded it, were put into Brockport, where Duke's from. So it's like the low end of Gotham, and it kind of shaped it from the beginning. So it's tying all of these people in Gotham together, and that the Waynes, this curse isn't just like and what we think of as a curse, but of history as well. Yeah. Like he completely shaped the city, and Bruce continues to do that.
Yeah, the group look into DNA. They figure out it's Jean-Paul Vallée. They figure out he's got cancer, know who he is, and they also look into who his sort of henchmen are. And it's like these people who have been wronged in some way that he's went in and saved. He saved people from death camps. He saved people from being POWs. But they're all people who you can kind of see why they've become loyal to him, given where he saved them from.
Well, it's his order. And they're kind of, what are they called, like the Flaming Angels or something along that lines. And
it was his that was his squad, right? In the army.
And he's a Green Beret, Blood Angels, and that they're really like salt the earth types in their revenge, and that their code names are also the two that they single out here are Gabriel and Michael,
which Archangels.
Archangels, right? And someone that doesn't know Christian, I don't want to call it mythology, but you know what I mean? Like the biblical stuff there, the references. I do know those two.
So the idea of the book is that Azrael Batman goes to Arkham and basically kills a number of Batman's rogues gallery.
Like, I don't like this.
Just goes through them with a flaming sword. Croc gets killed. The what do you call
Ivy
him? Ventriloquist,
Two-Face.
Two-Face. That's a great panel, though.
Yeah, down the middle as well.
Splits his face. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Riddler's gone.
So he gets to Joker, and he's like, "Oh, it's clearing out the competition." I see. So he's here for Joker. I mean, I doubt he kills Joker, but that's what was the final page where he says, "I'm Batman," and you just see the row of dead bodies behind him that he's just went through.
Because, they let me walk in. Why would they do that? Because I'm Batman. And it's just like, shit. Yep. Yeah, that's how you make that line work.
It does. And he could have even added a goddamn in there, too.
Because I'm the goddamn Batman. Yeah.
Right.
It would have worked.
Yeah, and so, but he's in the blue techno kind of suit that we all associate with Nightfall. And man, Murphy's just killing it with this book. I love this version of Batman.
It's so impressive that I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Give me Flaming Sword Azrael in the bat suit. Give me, all the Saint Dumas history stuff. Give me all the vampire stuff. And at the same time, I'm going, oh, god damn it, Bruce is going to be so broken at the end of this. Even more so because the whole thing is Harley's like, you've got to trust me. And he is working on trusting. And it's not whatever she knows that's going to break him. It's the fact that she didn't tell him.
I don't know. I do feel like she is going to tell him, and that's going to lead to it. But I also feel like she's a psychologist, right? Psychiatrist. She knows how to deal with this trauma that it's going to cause. So I feel like whenever she chooses to let him know, I think Harley's also going to be a key in him rebuilding himself.
Yeah.
Because of her past. And I feel that that's why Jack said it. Jack knows this, right? Jack wants what's best for everybody.
And I think it's something that Bruce maybe could have handled, but I think it's the fact that he's just coming around to trusting someone again.
Yeah.
And it's going to do this. It's just going to it's going to break him all over again, and that's kind of where we started this story, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's been great. I mean, the only thing I don't love about this, because one of the things I didn't necessarily like conceptually about the first story was this idea of like Jack being inside Joel. I was never a big fan of that Joel thing.
It's weird, but Murphy makes it work.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge part of this issue, and I'm not going to let it bog it down because I love the rest of it. But I mean, I didn't like.
Have to go with it, don't you?
I didn't like it in the first story, so I have to mention it. I've not changed my mind on it. It's just.
Yeah, I almost wish that it wasn't like when he turns into Jack. It's not just a physical thing, but like he's the hair color and white skin are gone, and that's kind of a problem for. I don't want to say believability.
I wasn't sure if it actually was gone or if it was more just a look. We're portraying it that way.
Okay, because if that's the case, I can see that Harley looks around and instantly sees him as Jack, and not Joker.
Yeah, because I bought it in the first volume where it was taking like actual drugs to that. Okay, sure, that and stuff. But here it is an instantaneous switch, so I don't know if it actually was a switch or if it was just more perception, and it was just illustrating that to us by doing it.
I also like how she explains why she wears the diamonds, which on her suit is because when he reached out to her for the first time in Arkham as Harleen, that it was on a 3 of diamonds, and so she wears that on her suit as a, as a not a remembrance. What's the word I'm looking for? Reminder, I guess you can say, of Jack and Harleen. So yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. What are you giving it, Matt?
I'm gonna give this one a 9. They're flowing.
Oh, not firing blanks today. Connor.
None.
It's all right. You got backup on this one, Matt. I'm also giving it a 9.
I'm just going with a straight 8 on this one. Very, 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 very good. But a little bit lower than you guys.